Well then guys, today what we are going to be looking at is a non-start on a car. I want to show you a video on how to diagnose a faulty battery and also how to diagnose a faulty alternator. So it's coming up for winter, it's that time of year, people's batteries are going to start failing, so we're going to do a little self-help video here and give people a little bit of a chance of potentially diagnosing a fault themselves and potentially saving themselves a little bit of money. So stay tuned and we'll get into the video. Well then guys, so we're going to use this as my example today. This is my Mitsubishi. It has been sat in the garden and it won't start at all. As you can see, when we turn the key, we've got nothing on the dash at all and we've got no power whatsoever. Right, so we've already identified the fact that we have got no electricity for the vehicle. So now we need to come and have a look at the battery. Okay, this is where we need to start. We've got this little tool here. Yeah, it's a battery tester. You can pick one of these up for around about 25 to 50 quid, something like that. Okay, and this will help us identify the issue with the battery. Okay, so all we need to do is hook that up to the battery. That'll tell us whether the battery is good or bad, and then we know whether we need to replace the battery or whether we need to look at another issue with the car. There is various tests you can run with this which will help us identify whether you've got an issue with the battery or a starter motor or an alternator. There is another fault in this video that we will come to very shortly, but first thing I want to do is get our battery tester on the battery and just to get it looked at. So the first thing I'm going to do is we're going to go on to check 12 volts. Luckily this one does 6 if you've got a motorbike, 24 if you've got a truck. So we're going to do a quick test. We can go in vehicle, okay, we'll go in vehicle test, battery test. Confirm that the engine is turned off, which it is, otherwise test results will be affected. If you're not sure what type of battery it is, it will usually say on it somewhere guys as well, okay, so they are different batteries. Most of the batteries these days over here are EN, and you need to know how many it is, and I think this one, if I remember rightly off the top of my head, was 720. What we are testing on this one as well guys is the amps in the battery, yeah, so this is something else, it's not just voltage, okay, you can have voltage but you can have no amps, yeah, if you've got no amps that's not enough power to turn the engine, so I'm going to go on to 720, it's coming up as completely failed, so state of health is 0%, as you can see here we're reading 11.4 volts, less than 100 amps that's tested. So that battery is indeed knackered. We're on a multimeter function here, yeah, and we're reading just over 11 volts, okay, that says just over 11 volts where that line is, okay, so that is low, okay, so normally you could jump start your vehicle and leave it running and let the alternator on the engine charge the battery. So that's what we're going to do now, and what we're going to do is to make sure the alternator is working, we're going to leave this attached, we're going to get it jump started, get the engine running, and then we can see if this voltage here increases. Now you can see once we've got the jump pack connected, you can see the voltage has come up to 14 volts, yeah? That's my jump pack powering the battery, okay? So we're good there to get this started. Now we've got this running, if we get over and look at the volts on the multimeter here, you will see that they have decreased, yeah? This should be up on that second green bar. You should be looking at around about 14 volts when this engine is running, but we're not, we've got 11, okay? And if we go inside, we can look at the telltale on the dash here for the battery. That is indicating that we have an issue with charging the battery. Another quick test is if we flick the lights on and the engine attempts to die or does die itself, then we know that the alternator is not providing enough power for the car. The alternator is located down there, it is ran off this belt here, and that spins the alternator, which in turn generates electricity, which recharges the battery. So when we go back over here, if we look again at the multimeter, we can see that the voltage in the battery is continually dropping. Yeah, the engine is not putting anything back into the battery, it's not being charged. The engine is using all the power. So now we've isolated the fact that we have an issue with the charging circuit. So what we then have to do is isolate exactly what component in that charging circuit is causing the issue. Now it could be wiring from the alternator to the battery, So we need to test what power we have coming out of the alternator. If we don't have any power coming out of the alternator, we know the alternator is faulty. If we've got power coming out of the alternator at 14 volts and it's not making it to the batteries, we know it is somewhere between the alternator and the batteries, including the wiring. Okay guys, so don't forget to check the earths as well, because they will give you poor charging. I hope this helps, guys. Hope this has added some value to someone and been able to save them a few quid in diagnosing a flat battery ready for winter. Thank you.